get into cellular sales in Florida, in Ocala, right?
It was they had a store next to a Starbucks, which was
Sounds about right.
150 meters.
I think that was literally every store we ever worked in was 150 meters from a Starbucks.
No. I lived 150 meters from that Starbucks.
Okay.
So I would run my dog
by the
Starbucks, and then there was the store there,
Okay.
and I'm like, my family's going to starve, and I need to figure out what to do.
Humble beginnings.
It was humble pie for sure, because I couldn't imagine going and working there. But
so you and that was the South Florida market.
No, it was Orlando.
Market.
Yep.
Okay, so
Orlando market.
Some of you may see this that we used to work with. I'm sure, maybe LinkedIn. I guess we'll find out. Who were the regional directors there?
Jeff Curry and Chris Keene.
And you had pretty good amount of respect for those guys, right?
I did. I did. I was closer with one than the other, but not because
Curry?
of. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. He's a good human, and it just so happened that way. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, a great guy. I just communicated more with the other one.
Okay, gotcha.
And
well, that usually happens from the sales side versus the ops side. Yeah, you're either ops or your sales. Okay, so then you meet and Greg
is who hired me. Yep.
He hired you, so he was a team lead, right? Yeah,
he was.
Okay.
Yep.
What's up, Greg Carnes? Shout out. You may see.
We had like a 3-hour interview.
Yeah. Greg's a great dude.
Drank coffee and talked about life.
And
Then he offered me a job, and that was.
Did you like seek out an interview, or did you guys somehow connect down there?
So, well, I met him because something was wrong with my BlackBerry, and it wasn't connecting to our server.
That's wonder why.
And I don't know what to do. I still don't know what to do.
Right.
But he tried to sell me on something else that I did not need.
A Samsung probably, or an LG.
He just tried to sell me
Android.
It didn't matter. I think he wanted me to add a line. And he's going to know the story.
If you know, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't need any of that. But it seemed strange that he was trying to hustle me like that.
So then Greg gets...
I gave him my resume. I went down there and I was like, man, I got to figure something out. And he was driving a nice car and wearing a nice suit.
Hey.
And yep, he was driving a nice car.
You can ball hard, guys, in cell phone sales.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know anymore.
I think you still can if you want to hustle.
That's good. Well, that's the answer to everything.
That's the answer, right?
Well, I want to hustle and do something else.
Right.
But whatever. Somebody wants to do that.
You're still a hustler, just in different.
Just not in that arena.
Anymore.
Yeah. So Greg was a great guy, and we became pretty close.
Yeah. Yep. So Greg then gets a regional director position up here in Indiana, and then you and your family relocate to kind of follow his lead.
For sure.
And he brings you in as how did you start?
It was the market. Well, we opened the market.
You started as market recruiter.
So, and then
sales.
I didn't really work I really was not ever on the floor.
Right. Just to cast them all with good old.
That was in the early days.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That was in the early days, but mostly it was a full-time recruiting gig.
Recruit.
Yep,
okay.
We needed to staff the state, and they were pretty aggressive in their growth.
Yeah.
So we had work to do,
and then I meet Jesse.
Cool. Yep.
I am gonna toot my own horn here. I was his number one recruit.
That's accurate.
Yeah, that is
number
accurate.
one recruit.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna fluff myself up here.
You should,
a little bit.
and you did, and you earned it.
We had fun. That was a great, probably like the last little bit of taste of Wolf of Wall Street you get in sales.
Oh boy.
Not quite. We definitely didn't make that much.
I didn't have anything to do with
that. Which we made. No. But it was fun. We had a good time. I mean, I didn't have anything to do with that either, just to clarify.
Yeah. And I don't know if anybody had anything to do with it.
Well,
I'm not sure. I have no idea.
I'm sure there are photos floating around, but we won't dive
into
that. We aren't going to dive into that now. Anyway, so we meet at Cellular Sales. Yep. Cellular Sales did great things for all of us. I think we learned what we did not want to do. And we also made a good living, which was cool.
Yeah.
That gave I'm not going to go into my story with that, but that gave me a leg up in life and broadened my scope a little bit, gave me some exposure to life and what can 100%. Be done. It also taught me how to not drink Folgers coffee, and
you're welcome.
Thank you. My gut thanks you too, because that was freaking battery acid.
Right.
We did go to Starbucks for
travel. I brought that espresso machine.
That P card paid for so much Starbucks. Really, just so much coffee in general.
Because it needed to.
It definitely needed to. We had to hype ourselves up.
It boosted morale, and it helped improve recruiting, and it helped ensure that we were able to get referral sources from our employees because they were happy.
Yeah, and then we learned how to drink better coffee and became even more pretentious.
There was a place right up in Fort Wayne.
Yeah, what was the place?
Found a good, let's say it was Forza or Forta, started with an F. It's right there near the Hilton, across the street from the Hilton. But that was a great time. I mean, that was where the only thing I had forgotten at one time, an award I won. I think it showed up on my Google Photos when it lets you know.
That's right. What was it? Was the award?
It was the 2016 Sales Team Leader of the Year.
Oh, right. You were, I think, the only Sales Team Leader of the Year that year. You were one of you were one of 4.
Yep.
Yeah. It was you and.
It doesn't matter, but doesn't matter.
Yeah. All right. Yep. Sure.
So, they didn't know that I was in the middle of talking to an Air Force recruiter.
Right. And you
I had to do it that way.
You started that conversation
January of 16.
January 16, and then you ended up going to basic
July of 17.
Okay. And then I think I left. We won't go into all those hairy details, but I left about October, November.
Yeah.
So I left about 3 months after you, and then I think our friend Stacy left about 3 to 6 months after me, and then Greg was out about maybe 6 months to a year later. So it kind of we ended up moving on.
The glue didn't bind anymore, but
we had fun.
The one thing that I enjoyed the most, that I would take from, I mean, it was years, and it was a long time. It was like 9 years, 10 years there.
You spent 9, yeah,
I did.
Right.
I spent a long time there.
Jeez, you were there a really long time, almost a decade. Now that was a quarter of your life. It was
pretty incredible. A lot of experiences, and it was just wasn't. It provided
it did provide a great
time.
Yeah,
great people,
great time.
Met great people, had great. The pipeline that got you promoted was my crowning achievement.
That was a good pipeline. I mean, we both knew at the time that the person in charge was not going to promote me unless I proved myself. And then, I already had, but we just had to put the nail in the coffin, and that was the way to do it.
And it worked.
It did work. It worked very well.
And you earned it.
I did.
And because of that earning it, you probably took it more successfully. More serious than maybe you would have.
And I mean, Extreme Ownership was the first book we read in that pipeline. And we had to read these books in 7 days, write a report on them, and present.
Publicly deliver them.
Yeah. And that book is still sitting on my shelf. Yeah. And I tell people all the time, like that book probably was one of the top books that changed my view on on owning my own problems, owning my own life, right?
Yeah. So I think 2015 was I want to say that's when I read that book.
Okay.
And then
man, has that book been around for that long now?
It has.
7 years.
Yeah,
Jeez.
It's been around. Yep.
Yeah.
And then everybody likes the last chapter, and that's what it was all about: discipline equals freedom, and how that relates even to a sales organization. And nobody's doing it better than Jocko is as far as that. But
he's crushing it. Shout out to Jocko. I got your boots on right now.
Yeah,
and we're drinking your drink right now. Let's go.
We love him.
Maybe one day we'll get to talk to Jocko.
Maybe.
He's pretty up there now.
He's been up now for 12 hours.
On a Saturday, 4:38.
It's 15:21. So, yeah, I think that was a really helpful part of even my development, because that's where I give them credit. They did trust me to put something together that I don't think that they kept.
Yeah.
And nor did they have before that. But they loved it when it was put together, and the whole idea of developing leadership. And the crazy thing was, I got the entire thought process from it from the military.
Yeah.
The way that the military runs a pipeline is exactly how I put that leadership pipeline together.
Right.
And
then lo and behold, a year later, you're in the military.
Right. Yeah. And that was like the beauty of it was taking this thing that I was researching and trying to figure out, and coming to a place where I was confident enough to tell my father, I don't want to be promoted within this company. And if I don't want to be promoted within this company, then I don't know if I should stay there.
Right.
And if I leave that company, I'm not leaving to go to another company that I'm not interested in being a part of. I want to do what I believe I should be doing.